The U.S. military and the Philippines Armed Forces came together in mid-April for their annual Balikatan exercise in the archipelago nation bordering the South China Sea and neighboring Taiwan to the north. The Philippines' strategic position in the Pacific and its need to increase its territorial defense amid rising aggression by China in its waters have led both the U.S. and the country to expand the exercise from one limited to a few training sites on the main island of Luzon to a vast network of complex events focused on multi-domain operations and interoperability between U.S. joint forces and the Philippines military. The exercise previously focused on humanitarian disaster relief and counterterrorism. I was on the ground for the tail end of the weeks-long exercise, which wrapped up May 9th, and had the opportunity to experience firsthand the challenges of operating across enormous distances, navigating island infrastructure, and over water, all while enduring the extreme tropical heat. The U.S. Army brought its first multi-domain task force to Balikatan. Originally planned to be an experimental unit to inform doctrine, the MDTF is now an operational unit. The Army is building 5, 3 of which will be in the Pacific. The unit is focused on delivering long-range fires and effects and will soon have capabilities like ground-launched ship-killing missiles and hypersonic weapons. The MDTF took its High-Mobility Artillery Rocket System, or HIMARS, island hopping. In one instance, the Army loaded a HIMARS onto a C-130, landed it on the island of Palawan, road-marched the system to a beach, loaded it onto a U.S. Marines amphibious hovercraft, and moved the system to another island for a live fire. Another portion of the MDTF had set up a small operations center on the island of Bosco, just south of Taiwan, evaluating long-range solar-powered unmanned aircraft systems and electronic warfare capability. Other live-fire demonstrations show how the U.S. and the Philippines were becoming more interoperable, able to pass data to each other more easily and even connecting to each other's radios. Easier said than done. I had the chance to speak with Major General Leodovic Ganid, Deputy Commander of the Philippines Army, at the Association of the U.S. Army's Land PAC conference in Honolulu last week about the importance of Balikatan and the progress made in the most recent iteration.
What message does Balikatan and Salicanib send to the world and to the region about your relationship with the U.S. Army and with some other countries that were participating as well, how you're coming together, and what the purpose of that is?
Yeah. I think the main message that we want to send during the Balikatan is the promotion of peace and security in the Indo-Pacific region,
Yes.
particularly the freedom of navigation in South China Sea,
Yes.
and the preservation of the rules-based international order. And it will be attained through a preparation, through strength, and a unity of effort with like-minded nations. The difference right now with the Balikatan, with this year's Balikatan, is the actual involvement of joint capabilities like the Navy
Yes.
and the Air Force. And it went, they did it in the South China Sea and not only in the ground.
The Balikatan exercise is just one example, according to General Charles Flynn, the U.S. Army Pacific Commander, of how the U.S. and its allies and partners are coming together in the Pacific, a necessity for effective campaigning to deter adversaries that would deny Pacific nations freedom of navigation and peace. I sat down with General Flynn at Land PAC to discuss the progress the service is making to build vital relationships in the Pacific.
On generating, really what we're talking about in generating is training together, rehearsing together. Of course, central to that is JPMRC and the exportable version of it. So that is a increasing thirst from the region on that, in large measure because they go to our schools, and then they are also, they've been to our training centers. They still go to our training centers. Only now JPMRC is closer, and it looks just like the environment in the region. And so we're then taking the exportable version of that and bringing it to the region. And so, of course, the persistent state of having that connected is really, really valuable. Applying it is really through positional advantage during Operation Pathways by placing those capabilities forward, being in the right posture, demonstrating our will together as a network of allies and partners. And all of that is really having the effect that we need it to have in the region, which is bringing this architecture together of land power to create operational endurance and build enduring advantage so that we have that positional advantage and we can deter adversaries from their, I refer to as incremental, insidious, and irresponsible behavior. And I think that that's really valuable, that demonstration of unity and collective commitment.
For more coverage on Balikatan and the U.S. Army's efforts in the Pacific, visit defensenews.com. For Defense News Weekly, I'm Jen Judson.